Connell, after a few clean sheets, I'm sure you were rather disappointed the other night to have to come in having conceded and not got a point from that game.
Yeah, obviously we've done quite well there recently. Obviously, a couple of clean sheets on the bounce, 3 and that, and it was a bit disappointing to obviously concede the goal like we did in the manner that we did with being a set play. It is something it's a little bit of a humdinger for us at the minute. We're conceding a couple of set plays, but the lads are trying their best to rectify that. And I think as long as we stay switched on, coming into the season, we'll be able to rectify them mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an experienced back line, isn't it? It's players, who know how to deal with those things. Is it something that you're actively working on in training, or is it just something that you go, look, we already know how to deal with this, so let's just get on with it?
Yeah, I don't think it's something you can work on. Really. I think it's just a state of mind, a mentality. You've got to be very focused, very on the ball. You've kind of got to, even before your free kick or the corner's taken you're kind of like looking at their body language, seeing if they're going to try and block you or if they're going to try and sprint or get a yard on you. So it's a little bit more mentally rather than anything like that. You just got to be on your toes, switch on. It's not a rest period. It's not a point where you can get your breath back. It's a very important part of the game. So I think the lads understand that, and I think obviously it's one of them things at the minute where we're conceding on them and it's just getting blown up a bit more than what it would usually do because of how we've started the season on set plays. So I think if we just keep working on them, I said, come the end of the season, I think we'll be pretty much, solid where we are, like we were last season on set plays.
The unfortunate thing the other night was, of course, because you hadn't scored at the other end, it was a defeat after a little bit of an unbeaten run as well. You've just got to kind of start another run now, I suppose, and that's the thing with it. You've done that once already this season after the little break with the COVID players. You got back, you got onto another run. Just got to kind of do that again now.
Yeah, look, defeats come all the time in football. You know what I mean? Very rarely, you go on a full season without losing. We've suffered a couple already this season, and for me, I'd like to obviously try and stop the defeats. And start picking up more points and getting more points on the board. But it's all about your bounce back ability at the end of the day. You've got to make sure that one loss doesn't turn into two losses or a draw and a loss and then two draws. You've got to have that mentality where you've got to bounce back straight away. And obviously it's a little bit more pressurised, the game on Saturday now, obviously coming back off the back of a defeat. But I tend to say, we play our best when we're under pressure. It brings out the best in players, when you're playing under that type of pressure. So hopefully we can bounce back on Saturday and set Tuesday up nicely.
Yeah, well, as you say, defeats do happen, and other teams near the top as well. Sutton lost at home, and Bromley lost at home to Yeovil, of course, who you play at the weekend. This is just kind of one of those things, and that's the thing with Yeovil. Hadn't won all season, and they've gone away from home and won just before you have to go there. So I wonder what you'll get from them now.
Like you say, obviously we know a lot of the teams in this division. They haven't done many major changes. They're going to be a very, very tough team to play against on obviously on Saturday. So we've just got to prepare for if it's first v second. I don't tend to look at league tables. I don't tend to look at that kind of stuff. I tend to look more at the players that they've got, the experience they've got in the squad, and that type of thing. And one thing I've come to know in this league is every game's a very, very tough one. There's no you don't get a free weekend or an easy game where you turn up and just stroll. Every game's a tough one. So I think when you start looking at league tables, you shouldn't be looking at league tables until you're 25, 26 games in, do you know what I mean? And you can see over a period of months, where people are. Like you say, Boreham Wood the other night, I think they started in 17th place when we played them, do you know what I mean? But we knew they were a very good outfit. We knew they had very good attacking players. They had dangerous players on the counter. So, and that's the same with Yeovil. It's the same with any team in this league. Everyone's got their threats. Everyone's got what they're good at. So I think you've just got to face every game like it's a cup final. And for me, it's about getting as many points on the board quickly as possible.
Can I just ask you a couple of questions about Christmas, if I may? Because I'm just thinking it's about the time normally maybe you'd have a Christmas party or something like that. And we've talked to a couple of the players who've signed over the summer and come from abroad and haven't been able to go out and see players and everything. Are you able to do anything over this period that you might normally be able to do that are often so important for that team spirit and team morale?
Yeah, it's just the way it is at the minute, unfortunately. Every team's got to go through it. We're all, it is nice. It is quite good to get out and bond the lads, over some food and a few drinks and that. It relaxes you. It's away from the pressure of the training ground and the match day atmosphere. So I think it is good. But I think we've integrated the lads this time round very well. you wouldn't be able to walk in our change room and tell who the new signings are and who the old signings were. Do you know what I mean? I think that everyone's settled in really well. And at the end of the day, we're here to focus on winning football games, and the times to go out and have food and drinks and stuff like that can come later on. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to be stuck in this pandemic forever. So I think the most important thing is at the minute we're just concentrating solely on winning games of football, getting through this pandemic, get the fans back in at the lane, and then we can hopefully celebrate a good season come the end of it.
Good man, that'll do me. Thanks very much, Connell. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Connell, how frustrating was it on Tuesday night to concede a goal from a set piece, given you'd done so well against Matt Reed, who's probably one of the best in the lower leagues at set pieces? Yeah,
like you say, obviously it's disappointing for me personally as a centre half. I like to pride myself on winning headers and keeping clean sheets and really the dogged side of the game, and to be undone by probably maybe it was his second header, he won in the box, and then the second ball it's come across and we haven't got to the second one as well. It is disappointing, but in football you've got to move on quickly, you've got to forget stuff like that, and the pleasure of playing football is there's always another game which is coming quickly, which is Saturday.
And how pleased are you with your form alongside Ben Turner at the moment? Because obviously going into that game you kept 3 clean sheets, and by and large really on Tuesday night you were very solid again. Yeah,
we've got a good understanding, me and Ben. We play well together. We're both on the same sheet. We're both kind of what you'd like to call an old-fashioned centre half. We talk well. We've got good communication with players around us. So I think it's just shown, as in obviously Ben coming back in. He's got a lot of experience. I'd like to think I'm a leader on the pitch as well. So I think it's just shored us up a little bit at the back. And like you say, hopefully moving forward we can stop the goals going in, and I want, last year we had a very good defensive record, and I want to come the end of the season this year with the best defensive record in the league, and we've had a little bit of a start-stop start to the season. We've conceded some silly goals, offset plays and mistakes, so if we cut them out over the period of the season, it should bear well come the end of it.
Obviously, Alex Lacey is back in fitness now. How does those centre back quartet? Obviously, Sam Graham as well. Are you all part of the thou shall not pass club? How does all that relationship work? Because you're all snapping at each other's heels to get in the team.
Yeah, totally. I'd go as far to say there isn't 4 centre halves in one club in this league that have got the quality we have. In that position. I guarantee you, no matter who plays on a Saturday or a Tuesday, that centre half partnership will be a very, very strong one. Like you say, at the minute it's me and Ben. At the start of the season it was me and Lacey. We've got a lot of games to come and stuff, and lads just need to make sure that they're on it. Making sure lads don't drop the ball, and then if people get injured and stuff like that, then people have got to take their chance and step in.
Obviously Torquay are 11 points clear at the top of the table. What does the dressing room think about that? We saw last season that towards the back end before COVID that you can chase down the leaders. I suppose it very much is the case is that you are confident of closing them down.
Yeah, look, I don't really look too far ahead. People are talking about automatic promotion. They're talking about playoffs already. We're 12 games in. I tend to not look too far ahead. The season's over this season. It's obviously I think it's 44 games maybe this season. Obviously we've got a team that have been kicked out of the league. So for me, I think if you start looking too far ahead, you take your eye off what's right in front of you, and what's right in front of us at the minute is Yeovil on Saturday and then Stockport on Tuesday. So I think for me, I don't look any further ahead than the next game. It's all about winning that game, winning the next game. We're putting points on the board, and then when you get to around 9 games to go, I think that's when you need to have a look at the thingy. And if you're in touch with the leaders, or you're leading, or you've got a good solid position in the playoffs, then you've got something to chase down. And I always say, you'll see the best out of the better players when it comes down to the business end of the season, when it really matters. So for me, I don't look at the league at the minute. I don't look how many points we're behind so and so or whatever. I don't really care about Torquay or Sutton. I'm just concentrated solely on winning games for Notts County.
Obviously Yeovil this weekend. We'll remember that game in the FA Trophy last January. It was a hell of a game, wasn't it? In terms of backs against the wall. Are you going to need that same kind of performance again on Saturday?
Yeah, I just like to think that's a given. Obviously when I'm on the pitch, I demand that off everyone who's in the starting 11 alongside me. To put in that, that dogged work, the hard yards, and I think there's no one in the league that could match us with the quality that we've got throughout the squad. So I think if we can just make sure that we do the nasty side of the game right for long periods of games, I think there's not many teams that will outplay us or stuff like that. We've just got to make sure we're on that bit of the game, all the time. Like I look at the squad at the minute, you've got the likes of Enzio, Ruben Rodriguez, Eli Sam, Carl Wooten, really working hard up top, really, running round, dogging round, doing things that probably they don't like doing because they're more of a flair player than game winners. And at the back, you've got lads like myself and Turns, we're trying to play out from the back, we're trying to adapt our game to be the people who start attacks off. So I think everyone's trying to buy into the mentality of both sides of the game, and it's hopefully it'll click sooner rather than later. And I think over the past maybe 4 or 5 games, I think we've really done well. We've created a lot of chances. Okay, maybe we haven't scored enough goals, but we're creating the chances. It'd be a lot worse if we weren't creating them chances, but we are, and we've kept a lot of clean sheets of late. So I think if we can keep doing what we're doing, we're not going to go far wrong over the Christmas period.
Now, final one from me. How pleased are you with your own form? Because obviously last season you many people's picked for Player of the Year, and you've started this season as well. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah,
I'm happy. Yeah, obviously I'm happy with the performances I'm putting in. I always think there's room for improvement. I always think there's I'm not a type of person that I don't come off a pitch and go, you had a perfect game. I always nitpick and have a look at certain aspects of my game where I think I need to improve. But overall, I feel like I've defended quite well. I've been dominant in the air. I would like to have seen us concede a few more or less goals as a team. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with my overall form at the minute. But like you say, it's your overall form's nothing. I'd rather not be playing and winning every week than playing 10 out of 10 every week and losing. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just individual form is more for trying to keep yourself motivated and trying to keep this, where I think the team's more important than any individual.
Top man, brilliant mate. Wish you all the best for Saturday.
Cheers mate.
Hi Connell, how are you?
Hi, okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Just a few follow-up questions really. You mentioned there with Lee about kind of like your thoughts on your own start to the season so far. What have you made of Notts County's as a team's start to the campaign?
It's a bit of a weird one, to be honest with you. We're sitting third in the league. I can remember roughly around this time last season, I think we were mid-table. Obviously the season this year is a month later than what it would be last year. So I think we were going into December last year in mid-table. So I think we're sitting third. I think a lot of people are looking at Torquay being 11 points ahead and thinking, it's a lot of points to grind out and all this anyway. But there's a lot of games to play, do you know what I mean? Like I said, obviously to Lee, I don't like to look too far ahead, do you know what I mean? We've got a game Saturday, let's go and win that game. Then we've got a game Tuesday, let's go and win that game. Let's not be looking, who's going to win the league, and no one won a league in December. So, let's just concentrate on ourselves and keep putting as many points on the board as we can.
Absolutely, and you also previously mentioned about kind of like the competition for places that there is in centre half at the club. Is that something that that's really helped to like raise your game this season?
Yeah, I think competition in a team is vital to bringing the best out of the squad you've got. It's only human nature to get comfortable and think you're always going to play and all that when there's no competition there. So I think what the gaffer's done this year, I think he's brought in a squad which is very, very competitive. I think there's no weak links in it. You've got lads that can come in and out at any given time and keep the strength of the squad really, really high at the starting 11. So I think the gaffer's done a good job and needs a pat on the back for his recruitment this year. Bringing in quality players. And like I said, competition with places just brings the best out of players. You need that to thrive off. You need that nervous energy, that pressure to put in them. The performances you need to put in.
And as you mentioned, with the players that have come in as well now, it seems that the squad's quite settled and that everyone's like really getting on well, and that there's a really good bond among key players in the group.
Yeah, we've got a really good change room this year. We had a really good one last year. To be honest, I haven't been in many change rooms over the years which haven't been good, but the lads are really good. The lads that have come in, they've obviously have brought in a few foreign lads. They've adapted really well. They're fitting in with this, with the lads, with the squad. They're having a laugh. I think it's quite an easy change room to walk into. Obviously, Tom's just signed as well. I know if you probably asked him, I think he'd say, it's been really welcoming, and the lads obviously will get on here straight away, a bit of banter and that just to settle you in. So, but yeah, the squad's there. It's a good vibe in the change rooms at the minute, and we're feeling quietly confident with what we've got there. That come the end of the season, we'll be there or thereabouts.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's all for me. Wish you well for the weekend. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Over to you, Chloe.
Hi, all right.
Hi.
Yeah, just about the FA Cup and the FA Trophy, really. So after it being disappointing not being able to play in the FA Cup, has it helped to concentrate on the league, especially with the list of injuries?
Yeah, obviously, the FA Cup is a cup that's quite close to my heart. I grew up watching it, and I would have loved to have played in it and stuff, but obviously it was taken out of our hands with the COVID situation, which is no fault of our own. But like you say, once you're out of a cup competition, it does give you the opportunity to obviously focus more solely on your primary objective, which is the division that you're playing. So I'd like to think that the gaffer we will have a bit more rest time where the FA Cups have got to be played on them weekends. So you look at the league at the minute, you've got Stockport that are in round 3. They've got a lot of games to catch up on, and sometimes it's hard with a backlist of fixtures to be able to go on and win them all.
Yeah, are you looking forward to having a break from the league with the FA Trophy and hopefully go on another successful run like last season?
I'll be looking forward to a break if we win the next 2 games. Yeah, if I always like to say, if you're going to have a break from the league, you want to finish on a good performance and a good result. You don't want to be leaving it too long where you have a bad performance or a bad result, and then you're waiting 2 weeks, 10 days for your next game to come round. So let's hopefully we keep our eye on the ball over these next 2 league games, and then we can enjoy a break from the league in the FA Trophy.
Yeah, and just the last one, are you looking forward to some of the fans hopefully being able to return to Meadow Lane in the near future?
Yeah. Obviously, we're always in and around the ground. Like you can see, preparations being done around the ground, for when the government are going to allow fans to come back in. And, it was the other night before the Bournemouth game, I was speaking to a couple of lads, and, I was just saying, I'm ready to have the fans back in. You're ready to hear them cheer, and whether it's a tackle, a header, a goal, it's something that I know every single lad in the change room's missed, and it's been a very tough couple of months, obviously, without fans at the ground, and it just goes to realise that football is nothing without them. You just got 22 men running around the pitch kicking a ball, and the atmosphere is nothing compared to what you've got when you've got 5,000-6,000 fans in there. So I'll be more than happy when I can see a couple of thousand come back through the gate. Yeah.